the core of it has to be WordPress for us, because it's where the users are.
This is Velocitize Talks, and I'm Tiffany Anderson. I'm here with Michael Mizner, Director of Technology for Dreamers of Day. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We are so excited to chat today. I know Dreamers of Day is a full-service agency that specializes in blending creativity and technology to create some really great digital experiences. Can you talk a little bit about how you drive that process from a technology perspective and how you ensure your team is adapting and continually evolving?
Sure. So as a WordPress enterprise-focused agency, my job in particular is to make the recommendations on how to implement WordPress. Hosting solutions, the technologies that are utilized, plugins, long-term strategy. Because we've got clients coming to us who maybe they're on WordPress, maybe not, but they're trying to find a 3 to 5 year, a 10-year plan of what's it going to be like for us to be on this platform? What's it going to be like to go through updates, through the ups and downs that you're inevitably going to have on a website, how to try to avoid those downs or how to easily recover from them. So I come in largely to speak with CIOs or maybe even just like marketing teams and maybe CMO and try to give them some reassurance of what that path looks like and how to make the right choices based on candidly, the mistakes that I have to make over a 15-year period that they're able to leverage and go, let's not make those same ones over and over again. It's this cumulative knowledge. So I help make the recommendations for us as an agency, and then we help guide our clients that come to us how to leverage WordPress, how to leverage WP Engine for long-term success, especially for their marketing teams.
You mentioned enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Your agency creates some pretty complex, elegant solutions for your clients. Can you tell me a little bit about the role that WordPress plays in those solutions?
Yeah, it's key. 90% of what we do is lean into WordPress and figure out how to correctly utilize this to solve all of the problems that a company might try to be solving for them. So the marketing teams, the IT teams, they get directives from their stakeholders for some initiative. Maybe even they're implementing some new AI technology. How are you going to leverage that in combination with WordPress? How are you going to display these results that implement some large language model? Whatever these things are, the core of it has to be WordPress for us, because it's where the users are, right? The marketing teams who have their junior staff members that are updating content and trying to make landing pages, trying to write blog posts, trying to update product information and actually engage their customers. We're helping out the users that are trying to reach their customers. So then if our focus is on WordPress, then we adjust all of our other solution recommendations around WordPress, then they get a viable ecosystem rather than a segmented, broken solution set that they have to patch up all the time.
You mentioned AI.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys using AI in the business? And then maybe how are you recommending AI to clients and customers?
There's these examples where we're working with some medical professionals, right? And they wanted to experiment around with helping wound care physicians go through a algorithmic set of recommendations on how to improve the state of a wound. And so maybe they submit pictures and give details on how the patient is doing and the condition of that wound. And then again, based on contextual data that's already been fed into a large language model, it gives back recommendations, right? So there's some practical things that people are using this for that are pretty cool and open up some really interesting opportunities. Other clients are, maybe already implementing some sort of large language model to go through large provider lists. Like we're working with these healthcare provider associated folks, and so let's say you're like looking for a doctor. Well, they've got a huge database of thousands and thousands of doctors and providers, and so you're trying to drill down and figure out who to look for. Their internal IT teams are already engaging these large language models to index all that data and try to bridge the gap between natural language, where you're like, I'm in this area looking for this kind of doctor, and for that large language model to get that information back to you. And again, with where we stand in that process, we go, here's this complex AI indexing system. Here's a user just trying to look for their doctor. It meets in the middle with WordPress, where we connect this data in, try to easily display that information, make it easy to adjust and render the context for those users. So again, it's still early stages, but we are seeing some practical implementation of it.
How do you address concerns from clients about using WordPress as an enterprise solution?
Because of all that work that we've been doing, talking to CIOs, letting them know, hey, this is why it's safe. WP Engine has been a big part of that. A secure and managed hosting platform did bridge the gap between the security concerns of all the self-hosting, roll your own adventure that so many IT teams are doing. So now, because we're a solid 10 years into successful enterprise implementations of WordPress, I'm not having to defend it so much anymore, as much as just recommend how it's implemented. So it's not really justifying it anymore. I don't even feel like we're competing with Drupal or Sitecore or other solutions anymore. It's more like you have a couple of more separate types of architectures. Like maybe you'll have these decoupled builds. You got Contentful or some other kind of headless API CMS, and then people will hook it up with Next.js or, I don't even feel like we're competing against them, because they have a complicated architecture, whereas even just good old-fashioned WordPress solves it for most businesses. Now, in some cases, when that architecture is needed, you have Atlas, you have Faust, and you can implement that same kind of stack, even with the complications that it comes with, and get those performance upgrades. So WordPress seems to be solving to be the right answer, especially when WP Engine acts as an intermediary to solve the problems where you'd have to roll your own adventure otherwise.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Would you say headless is a choice you would recommend to some of your enterprise clients?
Sometimes it's the right solution. I mean, you got like a really big e-commerce site, right? High volume, high traffic. It makes sense. Work on that technology. Have this big budget to implement this high performance, complicated stack. But for most websites, especially with what WordPress is today, just good old-fashioned WordPress, a little bit of PHP, tiny little bit of JavaScript, a little bit of CSS, and you probably have what you need.
Do you have any thoughts on, the direction you'd hope to see WordPress maybe expand into or be in the future?
Part of the challenge with WordPress is always, you got to think about this entire ecosystem. And wouldn't it be nice if we were all unified with the new, we're 6 years in, and the WordPress block editor and how this works. Like, if you're utilizing Brian Gartner's work on Frost as an example, that's not like some opinionated technology. That's him showing this is how WordPress works today. So if everybody was working with WordPress like that and only making the adjustments necessary for the larger customizations that they need, if you can get folks on the same platform with the same tools, even just like, again, core WordPress technologies, then you have a lot of availability. But that comes at the sacrifice of the larger WordPress ecosystem. Here's Elementor, here's Divi, here's Beaver Builder, here's all these different technologies and all these different paths that people use to accomplish WordPress things. So in the areas where you have some unification and standardization of technologies, I think that there's amazing opportunities to leverage AI to really, really expedite things that sometimes are taking marketing teams 3 weeks to complete to maybe 3 days of ideation, right? And actual delivering and getting something like that. So I'm really excited about that. But right now, a lot of people are in their own corners because we've got 20 years of everybody doing it their own way. So we're still trying to figure out how to navigate all that.
Have you seen any AI demand from your clients? Maybe clients wanting to incorporate more AI into projects, or expecting you guys to be doing more on the AI front?
Yeah, and I mean, look, it's the buzzword right now, right? So that's part of it. Like 15 years ago, it was cloud. How do we implement cloud? Cloud this, cloud that. Now, for us, to some degree, the AI thing is like predictive text. Right. Now we've all experienced and seen that for some time, but it really does take that language prediction and expand that idea out infinitely. We don't know where the edges of that are right now. There's a lot of stakeholders at various levels of all kinds of industries that are like, got to check a box and implement AI, and they're coming to us and going, how? Right? Sometimes it gets a little bit shoehorned in. But that's how all this stuff starts. So you start experimenting around. You're playing with, well, let's maybe try to work it into a chatbot. Oh, let's try product recommendations. Oh, let's try to help wound care physicians automate suggestions for how to heal wounds on people. So there's a vast variety of ideas out there of all the things that you could do. And we're just kind of having to, it's a wait and see thing, like see how some of this pans out. And on top of that, the technology is evolving so rapidly that we're not sure what it's going to look like in 6 months or a year.
Do you have any projects that you've maybe just wrapped up with WP Engine that you have been excited about and you'd like to share?
I guess I could speak to two. One of them is like an ongoing engagement that has been fruitful for us, and we're really happy to work with them. It's the focus at First Up, so First Up IO. So they have a variety of properties, with their main property being on WordPress for a long time. They've got all their stuff on WP Engine, and we've been able to really help them, help their marketing team go from ideation to production in these really tight time frames with limited resources. So that's been a fun engagement to work with them. And to help them unify their brand and better interact with their customers. So that's been enjoyable. And then recently we took Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, the Darden folks. We had a big centralized website where before they were purchased by Darden, they had you go to the main website and then find a location, anywhere. Now, Darden, their strategy is they want to decentralize that management and let the franchisee owners own their own properties. So we helped create a solution for a baseline that gives these franchisee owners a head start, where we go, here's this WordPress theme, here's plugins, here's the blocks that we've developed, and have a really good starting place so that they can go from having next to nothing, no website at all that they used to rely on corporate for, to we're launching our website that is specific with our information and our photos and our content, sometimes in less than a week.
Michael, it's been so great talking with you. We appreciate you.
Likewise.
Awesome. Thank you.